Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here. It looks like the video I did yesterday went a little viral in the fitness community, and a whole lot of people liked it and a whole lot of people didn't like what I have to say. But it is what it is. All throughout history, people have been put in prison, they've been tortured to death, they've been burned at the stake just for telling the truth. So the truth can be a dangerous thing, but I will say that I warned people in the title of the video. I said if you're easily offended, don't watch this video. So if you watched it and you're one of the 100 people or so who disliked it, or the people who felt the need to, even as public figures, shit talk me or whatever, that's fine, but I would say maybe you should check to see if there's a run in your pantyhose or something. But on to more important topics. Clearly I gained a few subscribers last night with all of that, so now that you guys are here, let's go ahead and educate you on matters of importance. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, since I did my deload video the other day, which I'm going to link here and down below, people are asking me things again like, why wouldn't you just take time off instead of deload, or take a half a week off instead of the deloading? Wouldn't that be superior? And let me break this down for you guys a bit. If you watch my videos on overtraining, I did a series and I think about this more, I think in part 2, but I'm going to link it here and down below. The first part of the series, I discussed a bit about dual factor recovery models in exercise science, and the way that they help professional athletes keep from overtraining on extreme training schedules. Is that we know that when you push somebody beyond their limits of what they can recover from and then back off, they make better gains than if you just push them to what they can handle or near their limits but stay under it and sustain it. So these waves up and down produce faster results. This is how you make champion athletes. And the same thing can be applied to even the layperson who's just trying to make gains if they want to make a little more gains. So there is this whole thing of the overreaching, underreaching. It can really help you achieve your goals, to ramp up your intensity, your volume or workload beyond what you can handle and back off. And a deload lets you do the backing off. Now the thing that you need to remember is that when you take time off, a full week off from the gym, and sometimes even half a week off from the gym, you can detrain a little bit. Now sure, you're recovering because everything's resting and you are getting recovery, but you're not getting any stimulation either, and it is possible to lose small amounts of performance, small amounts of muscle growth during that time period of your downtime. And what you oftentimes find though is that the half a week, if you've really pushed yourself hard, that half week off may not be enough to fully recover. So you don't really get the full adaptation of the overreaching, underreaching by doing it that way. Sometimes you really need that full week. And as far as the actual loss of performance, even if it's really, really small, the fact of the matter is, if you're concerned with making consistent long-term gains, you don't want to have several times a year a period of time to where you regress 5%. Or 2% or even 3%, and then have to spend a full extra week making that back up. So you take your week off, it takes you a full week or two to regain what you lost in that week sometimes in terms of performance, and then to go back to making your gains. And what you find is that the lighter training in a deload, where you're doing a very similar type program to what you were, but with half of the weight you normally use, and even with less volume, what you find is that the workload is so light that it doesn't affect your recovery negatively at all. You recover just as well as if you were not training at all. But what you find is that that deload training lets you maintain your performance because you're still doing the main lifts, the most important lifts in your program. You're maintaining performance. You're keeping that neuromuscular efficiency and that muscle memory for those lifts fresh, even by doing them with a very light weight, but with the same form you normally use. There's also the fact that the actual using the light weight like that on a deload can sometimes slightly speed up recovery because it's active recovery. You're getting blood flow into those muscles, blood flow into that connective tissue. You're not taxing it enough to cause any sort of micro traumas or impede recovery, but you're getting some blood flow in there. You're getting nutrients to it. And that can sometimes help speed up recovery just slightly so that you end up recovering better. And then on top of that, there is the fact that because you're coming in and lifting even at a non-optimal level, that little bit of light lifting is enough to boost muscle protein synthesis so that you're speeding muscle protein synthesis back up in the muscles, and that will stave off muscle loss because, again, that week off you might only lose a fraction of an ounce of muscle due to detraining it and due to anabolic versus catabolic balance, but that's still a fraction of an ounce of muscle that you worked hard for. You busted your ass for that. Why would you give it up? And what that lighter training will do is that it can boost, and sometimes even for several weeks, it is possible sometimes to hold on to all of your muscle mass while doing deload training if you have to due to an injury or illness or something, by doing deload style training for several weeks to hold on to all of the muscle and to not lose anything. Now eventually it's going to start regressing, but it can sometimes hold on to it for a little while. And so by doing that, you're not losing anything during your week off. And so what oftentimes happens during a deload week is that you recover fully, you maintain all of your muscle on the deload week, you maintain your performance, and then once you've readapted to the training, your performance sometimes goes up. So afterwards you come back stronger, and if you come back stronger and fully recovered but with all of the muscle kept, you'll start making gains again faster. So it oftentimes leads to faster gains in the weeks following a proper deload if it was timed correctly. So the deload is very much superior in every way to taking actual time off. So I would always recommend that unless you're just so exhausted, because sometimes it happens after you've prepped for a powerlifting meet or you've prepped for a bodybuilding show, your body is too beat up sometimes to even do a deload session. So sometimes you need to take a week off, but if you aren't in that situation, it is always better for your overall goals and your gains and your progress to go ahead and do a deload week instead of a week off. Alright guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you next time.